Welcome back to Triple Alpha Sports Talk, podcast number 21. I'm Josh. That's Bryce, and that's Roy over there. Episode 21, like I said, we're going to start off. Appreciate the support on the TikTok channels and the Instagram and all the other socials. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button. We're trying to grow the channel. There will be a post this week about merch. We're going to officially get our merch link out. It's not going to have any photos. It's just going to be our logo on the back, and then our socials on the back underneath it. And then not the circle, but just the name, Triple Alpha Sports Talk, will be on the front left chest. That's what the sweatshirt's all it will be. So it's pretty basic on the front, an all black sweatshirt, all black shirt. And then on the back, it'll be the big circle with the Triple Alpha Sports Talk and our socials. So we're going to put a post out about that. If you're interested, just shoot us a DM. We'll get your information, and then we'll be able to get it out to you. And we hope you get it. We have to sell 36 items. It doesn't matter if they're 36 sweatshirts, 36 T-shirts, any mix of anything. There'll be T-shirts, long sleeves, dry fit T-shirts, dry fit long sleeves, regular sweatshirts, and dry fit sweatshirts. So that's what it'll be. And the pricing will be in the comment section below. But we hope you guys buy some merch. I know we are going to buy some. Our family members
said he's going to buy some.
Yeah, so we need 36. So we're hoping that we get some fans to give us a few. So if you can't afford any or anything, that's fine. Just share it, and that's just as good for us. So we appreciate the support. Baseball season starts on Thursday. Sweet 16 starts on Thursday, and that's going to lead us right into our March Madness update. I think we're going to start with, it's the Sweet 16, so the first two rounds have been played over the weekend. Let's go over some of our biggest upsets. Roy, I'll start with you. I think we can all pretty much agree the biggest upset of the week was, unfortunately, for my friends, Kentucky and Oakland, I would say, as a 3 seed. What happened with Kentucky, and why did they lose that game?
Defense. I mean, they just didn't even come to play defense. And I mean, they were young. That's the difference between when you're in the NCAA tournament, when you got young players in a spotlight like that, it's a different atmosphere for them. And I felt like Kentucky didn't shoot very well early. They tried to get back in it, and their defense just wasn't there. They needed to score 90 points. That's how they win ball games this year. And they score 70. So
76.
76, just low. Yeah. That is the biggest upset so far in the tournament. In the first round, I thought.
Yeah, Bryce, what about you? What happened in this game?
What happened is they had a guy just go off. Oakland did. Kentucky's a good team, and you can say they didn't play good defense, but the contested threes fading away with two hands in your face, and the guy can't miss. What do you have, 10 threes?
I believe so. I think he went 10 for 20.
I mean, the guy gets hot like that in the tournament, it's tough to win. It's madness.
The guy only shot 8 2-pointers the entire year.
Yeah.
You should have game planned to not even let him get the ball. Yeah, he made some tough threes, but you've got to make sure he cannot get that ball anywhere or make him drive. There's defensive ways to make him do things, and they didn't do that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I agree with you, Bryce. I mean, you catch a hot shooter in March, every shot goes in, just how it works in March. After he hit probably 5 or 6, you got to run him off the line. You just have to. Kentucky's too athletic to let a white shooter sit at the three-point line the entire game. I mean, he was the only one beating them late. I mean, it was just him shooting.
It wasn't even really like him sitting at the three-point line, though. It was running across through double screens and had hands in his faces. I mean, it was on fire.
And when you look at Kentucky, Reeves, the fifth-year senior, scores 27. He's been doing it all year. But your best player for the most part was Rob Dillingham. He has 10 points, shoots 2 of 9 from the field. You can't have it from one of your best players in the first round against a, 14 seed. You just can't have it happen.
They made a lot of mistakes. They made a lot of turnovers. I mean, like I said, they're a young team, so you make those kind of mistakes. And the bad thing is that's what happens in first-round games with those guys. When you are a young team and you make mistakes, you're going to get beat.
Yeah. And Kentucky's always a young team. It's just how they play. They have great success once they get into the NBA because that's the style of player they attract. But they're always 5 freshmen out, and it's just repeated. I know they had Reeves this year, but I mean, this was a good Kentucky team. They shouldn't have lost. And I know a lot of people are calling for Calipari's head. Yeah, and his track record the last few years, it's not absurd because you can get these great recruiting classes, but at the end of the day, it's results. And if you're not getting any results in the last 4 years, something's got to give. I don't know if it's the coach or not, but
the NCAA is a different beast now. I mean, it used to be Kentucky could get these 5 stars and they could just roll at least to the Elite Eight or to the Final Four, no matter what. But I mean, you're getting so much transfer portal has just completely changed the game. I mean, you could one team could be really bad. Looking at Michigan this year, we were bad this year, but a lot of transfers coming in. You could change that and make a tournament team. That's the bad thing about the way it is. It's a free agency world, and Kentucky is trying to build by just freshmen, which is fine. They're having success winning throughout the season. But I mean, even these younger teams, these mid-major teams, they're getting transfers in from a Kentucky who's not been playing on the bench, who was a junior who can't play over these freshmen. They're coming to Oakland and they're playing these major teams, and then they're coming to tournament and they're playing great against these good these traditional basketball schools. That's what's happening in NCAA. It's not you can't get rid of Calipari. He's too good. He'd have a job tomorrow if they fired him.
Yeah. I mean, I'm open to the floor. I mean, there was upsets. I just don't know which ones you're going to talk about. The next one I would talk about is Auburn and Yale, 4 and 13 seed.
Yep.
And it's a continuous right here with SEC schools. They had a disappointing first weekend. Auburn falls to Yale by 2 points. And to me, this is shocking because Auburn, I mean, they were on a roll. They win the SEC championship. They're playing as good as you can get, and they fall short. I mean, they're a defensive team, and to me, giving up 78 to Yale, I mean, that's just unheard of for a team that was playing elite defense down the stretch.
Go, Bryce.
I actually didn't watch this game, so I mean, it's crazy that Auburn, coming off that hot streak and winning the SEC tournament or championship, they fall like that. And then Yale, I didn't even think was that good of a school. I mean, San Diego State rolled over them right after the next day. So you come into March Madness, and it's just you can't expect your success throughout the season to roll over into it. You have to come in knowing that it's a full new season and that anything can happen.
And that's what throws me off the most about Auburn more than like Kentucky. I mean, Kentucky's an offensive team. They're going to try to score 100. But you go into a new environment, a building you haven't played in probably because you're going to these big arenas. It's okay if your offense slows down, and that happens sometimes. But for Auburn, defense travels. I don't care where you're at. They should travel. And to give up 78 to Yale, I just don't think that's acceptable.
Yeah.
Well, this is a prime example of a game where Auburn had a lead through most of the game. I mean, off and on throughout the game. And when you're a team like Auburn, a team like Kentucky, anybody like that, when you let a team like Yale, who I agree, I did not think they were that good. I mean, they were the second-tier team in the Ivy League.
Yeah.
And you let them hang around. And when you let a team like that just hang, it doesn't matter what sport it is, you let a team like that just hang around, something is going to happen at the end. It always does. And Auburn let them hang around. And guess what? Yale hit some big buckets down the stretch, made some stops. That was the difference. And Auburn just could not get their defense set. They could not get their defense settled for some reason. And it was just not I watched that game, and it was not the Auburn team I thought it was going to be. They just crumbled late. And that's what happened. Yale just took over and made the shots that they needed to. And Auburn they didn't lock down their defense like they normally do.
Yeah. The other first-round matchup, and we don't even have to talk about it, was James Madison over Wisconsin, 12-5. Yeah. It was a very popular upset pick. James Madison was playing good. And Wisconsin, even though they did play good, they had stretches of being cold. I don't know if we all did. I know I picked James Madison.
I picked James Madison.
Yeah, so we can roll over this one pretty quickly. Wisconsin, I just didn't think their offense could keep up with a high-powered offense. I mean, anytime they played a team that had high-powered offenses, they struggled to keep up. And James Madison got out early, and they just never looked back. I mean, I don't know if they trailed at all any of the game. I mean, Wisconsin finished the first half down 13 points, 33-20. I mean, you just can't win a March Madness game scoring 20 points in the first half. You're just not going to do it.
No, and Wisconsin all years had inconsistent guard play, and that'll kill you every time in a tournament. And again, Storr and all those guys just did not play well, did not shoot the ball well.
No,
and when you can't get good to great guard play in the NCAA tournament, you're going to lose. Yeah. And if you get great like the Oakland 3-point shooter, when you get great guard play like that, you're going to win and you're going to surprise some things. But when you can't get it, you're going to lose.
Yeah, I agree. And the reason that some people were higher on Wisconsin than maybe us was the play of Chucky Hepburn down the stretch of the Big Ten tournament. I mean, he only had 8 points, 3 of 8 shooting. It's just not going to get it done.
Yeah.
I don't care who you're playing. And James Madison was a good team. I mean, that really does it for the first round. The second round I thought was pretty chalk. I mean, I thought it was pretty good. NC State, I know a bunch of us had them losing in the first round, and they win that ACC tournament. Man, they're rolling right now. They're into the Sweet 16. Kansas falls to Gonzaga, but that's an injury riddled season.
Gonzaga team is
Gonzaga's
looking
good too.
They're
but
on
better
top,
in the
and they're
five,
looking
in my
good.
opinion.
Yeah, and that's not the usual Gonzaga team because they don't have that superstar like they've had. But man, I think his name Mark Few, is that the coach's name? Correct? Mark
Few,
yeah. He's just a great coach, man. At the end of the day,
like you said, this isn't your typical Gonzaga team. They're usually got some stars, but they're just a bunch of role players, and they didn't look good early in the year, and they are starting to. When you get hot at the end of the year, they're looking good, and they're a different team, and they're going to make Purdue work a little bit. And I have Gonzaga winning that game, so it's going to be surprising.
I also have them beating Purdue.
We saw Baylor fall to Clemson.
Yeah, Baylor falling to Clemson. I know a few of us had Clemson losing in that first round.
Well, that's one of my surprises, how good the ACC has turned out. I really thought they were not that good of a conference. I agree. I mean, other than North Carolina, I thought that the rest of them were kind of average, and they would maybe one or two would win. Maybe Duke could win some, but never saw Clemson. I watched Clemson earlier in the year, and not even like a month ago. I watched them in the tournament. And the ACC, they did not look good. And I thought, oh, this will be an easy win for. I didn't even have them win the first round, so
I didn't either.
So I had Baylor going an extra step, and I was shocked at how good this ACC conference is. And Duke even looks really good. So look surprised at all of me. So this
James Madison, James Madison played Wisconsin well, and then gets throttled by about 40 to Duke. So. Duke, they have the good big man in Kyle Flipkowski, and he's a good player. He just is. But their guard play was inconsistent all year. And,
well, that's what
McLean, all the dancing TikTok star, scores 30 against James Madison.
All those ACC teams, their guard play has been good, and their defense has been really good. Everyone, Duke's defense, who's never really been known for a great defensive team, they all look good.
Okay, the only game left that we're going to talk about from the first weekend is Houston goes against Texas A&M, and they go into overtime in the second round, and they win 100-95. And it's the first one seed we have that has a scare. Are you guys worried about Houston, or was it just a really good game from A&M?
I think it was a good game. A&M. Houston. That was the only game on Sunday that I took the spread on every game. That was the only one I lost. Houston had the lead comfortably till the end. They let A&M get back to A&M played great to get back into it, and Houston got lucky that they got in overtime and that they didn't do that. Texas A&M did not carry that wave of being hot into overtime. So Houston squeaked it out.
I watched that Houston game for pretty much most of the second half and then into overtime. And Jamal Shead is one of the best players in the country. Without him, that team loses that game. He hit bucket after his whole starting forward fouled out outside of him. He ended up fouling out, and it was all backups the last minute. Luckily, they had the lead. But, he carried them 21 points, 10 assists, 7 of 10 from the free throw line. Didn't shoot the three ball well, but when it was crunch time, and he played every minute till he fouled out. Didn't come out of the game one time. Hats off to him. He kept their season going. So then I guess we'll just get into the Sweet 16 schedule, and you guys can stop me at any point if you want to talk about a game. We have a first game on the list. We have a national championship rematch from last year, UConn against San Diego State. I'll talk about it a little bit. I don't think there's any slowing UConn down right now. They're playing too well.
Jeez, they're freaking good.
They're playing great.
Yeah. To me, this is the game of the week, and I'm not saying it because I'm biased. I just think it's a great matchup. You have the number 2 offense in the country in Illinois against the number 2 defense in the country in Iowa State.
I agree. I think this is going to be the game of the week because of the fact it's the best, one of the best offenses in the entire conference or entire tournament against one of the best defenses in the entire tournament. It's going to be a fun game to watch.
Yeah, Roy. Is there anything you're looking for in this game you want to watch?
Well, it's the pace of the game. Who will win the pace of the game? Because Illinois wants to get up and down the court. That's all they want to do.
Yeah.
They don't play defense, so they want to get up and down the court and make you run. Because that's where Terrence Shannon in was it Damascus or Damascus?
Yeah, Damascus booty ball.
They're like
that's where they're good. Is in the open court and getting. But Iowa State wants to slow you down, and they play.
Yeah.
But the difference is Iowa State plays awesome defense. I mean, they held a Houston team to 40 points. Did not a week ago or 2 weeks ago in the tournament. That it'll be interesting who sets the pace. But this is one of the 2 or 3 games that I'm really looking at going for the this coming weekend.
Yeah, I think it comes down to if Iowa State scores on Illinois with will, I don't think Illinois can keep up. I mean, Iowa State is going to force turnovers. Illinois turns it over at more of a rate than you'd like. It's just if Iowa State can score, if they're hitting their shots and they get that lead, I just don't think Illinois is going to keep up. If it's close down the stretch, though, I think Illinois can take them. I mean, no one is playing better in this country right now than Terrence Shannon. I know they had 2 first-round matchups basically because BYU got upset, but at the end of the day, I mean, he's putting 30 on the board every night, and he's lights out from the free throw line. Domask, he can play one-on-one booty ball all day long. It came out that Illinois lost a game during the year that Jay Wright, the former Villanova coach, was watching and calling, and he called Brad Underwood over and told him you should start doing this with Domask. He listened, and Illinois has lost 2 games in the year since then. But I think this is a good game. I have Iowa State winning my bracket. I just think defense travels more than offense. The game's going to be in Boston at 9:00 at night. But, God, I hope I'm wrong.
I got Iowa State, too. I just think their defense is too tough.
Yeah.
And Terrence Shannon's going to get his, but I think they'll do a better job. What's helped Illinois when they're slow is your center, Danger.
Yeah.
That's what's kept you in some games against Wisconsin and the other games. That's what's kept you when teams have slowed you down. That's what kept you in.
Yep.
Iowa State can match that. That's the difference. And so that'll be a key right there if they can stop him.
That'll take us into the West region. The UNC 1 seed against number 4 Alabama. Alabama's playing some good ball. They struggled going in. They've been inconsistent, but they've played well in the tournament. But I still think UNC's leadership and how old they are. I mean, they're as old as the Oklahoma City Thunder. It's crazy. So give me UNC.
I also have UNC. They're actually my champion in one of my brackets. I had Alabama losing the last round because I didn't have St. Mary's getting upset. So I'm hoping that North Carolina keeps rolling right through Alabama.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, this is going to be a track meet. This is going to be one of those that's going to be 90 to 80 something because North Carolina will slow down Alabama. But Alabama can still score a ton.
Yep.
And North Carolina can score a ton. So I'm going to take the over. I have UNC winning, but I'm going to take the over this game because these 2 will shoot. They'll shoot themselves out of it, and they'll shoot themselves in it. That's just what these 2 teams are made for.
Yep. Then the other one below them is the number 6 seed Clemson, who shocked some people against number 2 Arizona. And I'll stick with what I've said. This is going to be a North Carolina-Arizona Caleb Love rematch, and the Elite 8 to go to the Final Four. Give me Arizona. I just think they're too good at the guard play right now.
I agree. Arizona is just a stout team right now, and Clemson's had their run. I think that after this week off of games, their heat's going to slow down a little bit. So Arizona.
Yeah, I agree. I'm actually going to take Clemson. I think their defense is going to be better. I don't think Arizona's defense is that great, but Caleb Love has kept him in games, and he's actually almost shot him out of a game the last one. I mean, he went he missed 7 straight shots or 8 straight shots. He's not afraid to shoot the ball, even if he's missing. But I mean, they're going to Arizona. It's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be close, but I think Clemson can pull it out.
Yeah. Another really good game of the week is Houston, who survives the upset. They get the red hot Blue Devils right now. It's hard for me not to pick Houston, but Duke's playing really well. But my gut is Houston. I think it's almost good that they had a close game early because they need that test for the March Madness. Because outside of a few games, they probably didn't play too many close games, being one of the best teams in the country. But I'm still going to rock with Houston. I just think their defense is too good.
This one's tough because I also picked Houston in my actual bracket, but after the Texas A&M game and the way Duke's been playing, I see Duke being able to pull out a win in this one. If it comes down to a high-scoring game, I think Duke's got the ability to edge it out there at the end.
I think Houston will actually win. It will be close, but I think they'll win comfortably at the end. Yeah. Double digits. What I think they're too physical. Houston's too physical for Duke, in my opinion. Duke's been playing really well, but when they play teams that are just in your face defense, Duke struggles, and I think Houston's. I think they had let down against Texas A&M. I thought Texas A&M played really well at the end. Houston's just too talented. I have them winning the whole thing, and I think Houston is. I think they'll end up. I think it'll be a good game till about the last 7 or 8 minutes, probably that under 8 timeout, and then Houston will use their physicalness and just get and don't just win the rest of the game.
Then it takes us to NC State, who's playing as good as anyone, just winning games against number 2 seed Marquette, who they've kind of scraped by. They beat the hell out of Western Kentucky, but they were down at halftime, and then they barely get through Colorado, who's playing pretty well. This one is kind of a toss-up. I could really see this going either way. My gut tells me NC State, but I watched Marquette early in the year, and I know what they can play if they're healthy. I'm going to go with Marquette because I'm thinking the time off might hurt NC State, but I said that last time, and here they are in the Sweet 16. So I don't know. This one's really a toss-up for me.
I'm going to take Marquette, but I don't think this game will be that close. NC State played a 6-seed Texas Tech that I didn't think was as good as a 6-seed probably should be, and then they barely edged out Oakland there at the end of the game. Their Oakland's player didn't hit crazy threes there at the end of the game to win them the game. So I think that they're props to them for being in this position, but I don't think that they're good enough to be in this Sweet 16 against Marquette.
Marquette, I don't know. They're a good team. They just haven't shown it in probably the last month, in my opinion. UNC's just hot. It's hard to pick against a team that's hot like them right now. And to see, it seems like a team that's high seed, one team that's 11, 9, 8, 10, 11 seed gets into the Elite 8. So I'm going to say UNC just because that's how it's been traditionally.
NC State.
NC State, and I wouldn't be surprised if Marquette. I'll probably end up taking UNC State in the points just because of it, just because how hot they've been.
And I think the Midwest, I think this is the best bracket corner games this week, like 2 of them combined. Number 1 seed Purdue against number 5 Gonzaga. Unfortunately, I was hoping Purdue would win this spot. I was hoping they'd get upset. They haven't yet. This is a good game. At the end of the day, I don't think Gonzaga has anyone who can stop Zach Edey, but I don't think there's anyone in the country that has somebody who can do that. So I like the way Gonzaga has played as a team, so I'm rocking with the Zags, but I could see Purdue winning this just off Zach Edey. But
I'm also ready to see our first 1 seed fall, and I think this is where it happens with Gonzaga. So even though I also said Houston will probably fall this round too, so maybe we'll have 2. I'm calling it.
All right.
I watched Purdue. I was in Indianapolis, watched Purdue against Grambling. I was not that impressed. They got some shooters, but they just, they didn't play very well. Their defense was weak. Other than Edey, it was a one-man show. It wasn't very, and I didn't think they played great against Utah State. They have been blown them out, but Gonzaga is playing very, very well. And I think that they can. This is the type of team that can beat Purdue. I have Gonzaga winning, and I think this will be Purdue, the number 1 seed. I wouldn't be shocked if they somehow get hot. They got 3 guys that can hit threes. They got hot and hit threes. It might be a different story, but I think Gonzaga plays a little better defense than what they've seen. So,
all right, and that takes me into, in my opinion, the second best game of the week. Maybe Houston and Duke can take that. Creighton against Tennessee. I'm going to let Bryce go first on this one because I want to hear what he has to say about Tennessee because you did watch them play Saturday.
I've watched all their games so far. Tennessee, in my opinion, they can have one of the best offenses in the whole tournament if they're playing and shooting good shots. They like to push the floor sometimes and take bad shots, like pull up threes in front of people. Like, it just doesn't look good. So, if they're getting into half-court sets, though, and Connect is going to the rim and getting them the big buckets that they needed, like he did at the end of the Texas game. It was a close game. Texas had good defense, though. I don't think Creighton's going to have the same level of defense that Texas had to slow down Tennessee the way Texas did. Yeah. So I think Tennessee will top them out in this one.
Roy, what do you think about this one?
I think this is one of the 3 games that I thought that will be one of the better games. This one, the Houston game, Duke, and then Illinois, and I would say. I think Creighton's physical, and I think they will give them a tough time. I have Creighton win this game. I think Tennessee's about a one-man show. and scoring when they need a bucket. I think he might be the best player in the country. But I just think Creighton's got a better overall team and does a better job defensively than what Tennessee does. And that's why I got Creighton.
Yeah. I completely agree with you, Roy, on one thing. I think Tennessee, they live and die by Dalton Knecht. Yeah. If he's not on, they struggle. Yeah. When he's on and he gets, 2 to 3 bodies come at him, it opens everything up for everybody else. If Creighton can slow him down, which I don't know Creighton well enough to know if they have like a lockdown defender for Knecht. I don't know that. But I do know that I don't think Tennessee has anyone to cover Ryan Kalbrenner, the 7-foot center. He's not Zach Edey, but he is very tall and very good. He's been there for like 4 years. I have Creighton winning due to the size. I think they can out-rebound Tennessee. But if Knecht's on, I don't think anyone's stopping Tennessee because when he's on, he is one of the best players in the country.
I do think Creighton does have a guy that can guard him. Yeah. I can't remember his name. But, I mean, they play good team defense, so that'll help. And they'll get into him to make him take tough shots. And he may make some, but I just think Creighton will just be too physical for him. I
also think it helps Creighton. They had that double overtime game against Oregon. I mean, that was just an electric game to watch. I mean, that has got to give you a boost of confidence that you can keep surviving an overtime. I mean, second overtime, they started the game. They started the overtime like 10-0 run in about a minute and put them away. So I think that gives them a boost of confidence that they can take on anybody. So I am going to go with Creighton as well. But I really like this round. I think this is where you're going to start seeing some of those champions in your brackets fall.
Because you had Kentucky.
Yeah, unless you had Kentucky. But it should be good. And we're going to go over, we did do a Triple Alphas bracket group. And I'm just going to read over some of the best teams. Right now, one of my friends in the Air Force, Charles Webb, is in first place. He works up with me. Well, he did. He doesn't now. He's got 480 points, but he has Purdue winning. I believe he has Purdue and Tennessee in the finals. I could be wrong. No, he has. I was incorrect. He has Clemson in the Final Four.
Wow.
He has Clemson. He has UConn over Clemson and Purdue over Duke. So you could see his bracket fall apart this weekend. Clemson and Duke underseeds against really good teams. My boy Butters is in second with UConn winning. That's a pretty heavy to have UConn winning, and I know what his Final Four is. 1 seed, 1 seed, 1 seed, 1 seed. I remember looking at that last week. So, if the 1 seeds do their job, Butter will be looking good. He will take over if they all win. Outside of that, we do have Bryce tied for fifth with his Vols picks, and his Final Four looks like Iowa State. He did have Baylor, so Baylor has been eliminated, and then Tennessee over Houston. So
as long as Tennessee wins, I'm going to win the bracket.
Yeah, if Tennessee wins, I think you would win the bracket easily. If Purdue wins, I do believe Webb or my cousin Matt would win. If Iowa State wins, I know I win. I know that. I'm hoping to God I get knocked out this week, though. So,
who's third or fourth? I don't even know.
The standings: Webb, Ethan Alvis, my high school one of my basketball coaches, Tyler Lauderdale. Auntie Jones.
That's Jackie Joins.
Jackie Joins. She's up there. My cousin, Bryce, is also tied with my cousin at fifth. Kyle Monacle, the Seahawks fan we had on here. Someone I play fantasy baseball. Just, and it's a bunch. I will point out, my girlfriend, Natalie, is in dead last place. And you're in.
She tied with my girlfriend.
You're in a rough spot when your Final Four for my girlfriend was Alabama, Florida Atlantic, Tennessee, and 15 seed Western Kentucky. She picked off mascots. So,
nice.
And second to last place is Bailey.
Yeah,
she does have Houston winning, and Natalie has Tennessee. So their champions are still alive.
Bailey's still alive with Houston.
Yeah. So let's see Bailey's Final Four. She's got UConn, UNC, Houston, and Tennessee. So that's respectable. All live. But
she did her research.
Yeah. Well, second to last place. I don't know how much research it went to.
Yeah, I mean, did she get it from you? Is that what she got her research from?
I think that's all we have for March Madness updates. I'm excited. Thursday is going to be an awesome day. I mean, we got March Madness that starts at night at like 6 o'clock. We got 4 games, and then we also have opening day for MLB is Thursday. That Thursday is going to be a good day. I'm going to be in front of the couch all day after my presentation. I think that's going to lead us right into our NFL breakdowns. And we have hit the playoffs. The teams that did not make the playoffs are out. Before we get there, we have some rule changes in the NFL. I'll start with the one that came out a few days ago, the hip rule tackling. We can all talk about it. The NFL has banned hip drop tackling.
It's where you grab them by the waist and you just drop your waist.
You just fall.
It pulls them down with you. It's considered a rugby style tackle.
To me, this really only affects when the runner is in front of you and you are behind, because if you're never going to hip drop tackle going at somebody.
Unless it's a goal line and you're trying to not let them get across the goal, you'll jump behind them to pull weight back. But
I don't know how they're going to implement this rule, how it's going to work. I don't know how you can tackle someone who's running in front of you without doing, like, if you dive forward.
They have the shoulder
you can't
pads
do that.
tackle, but I mean that's about it.
I mean, it's got to be so hard.
You can't catch them and you can't do that. That's going to be hard. I mean, you basically. I love how J.J. Watt said it's turned into flag football. It's what it's going to be.
I mean, you can't even tackle these people.
The more you see on sacks when they go and they slide and they get him on back in and slide, that'll never be a sack now. I mean, you're gonna. So what are you gonna do? Jump on top of him and jump on top of the quarterback and follow him? That's a foul.
You can't do that either.
So that's how do you sack a quarterback now?
You already see linemen going for sacks and they're just bumping the quarterback
because they're afraid to hit him.
The quarterback looks at him and then throws the ball because they don't want to. It's going to turn into a two-hand touch for a sack on a quarterback.
And I'm all for protecting the offense, higher scoring, but this is ridiculous. Unless they don't implement it as strongly as we're seeing it. You know, if they're going when it's like a clear grab by the hip and you just fall backwards, okay. But if they're like regular tackles that look like hip drops, but there's no other way to tackle them and they're not throwing the flag, then I'll understand it.
Just
but
take the pads away and let them play flag football. It's pathetic.
Yeah.
The other breaking news is on the kickoff. The NFL has officially changed their kickoff. Regular kickoffs are done. Roy, I don't know if you know about this. They are using the former XFL rules because the XFL is not doing it anymore. Yeah. So what you will see now, it's going to look totally different for football fans that have never seen XFL. The kicker will still kick from the 35, his traditional spot, but they will not be lined up with the kicker.
Yeah.
They will be 40 yards downfield,
They're 5 yards apart,
but around the 30 and 25 in that range.
They stand. It might be 10 yards. It might be on the 25 and the 35 is the offense and the defense.
And the kicker's going to kick it, and nobody is going to be able to move. The kicking team is going to have their back to the kicker, so they're not even going to see the ball until it basically gets landed. And as soon as the guy catches it, you can start moving.
Yeah.
So it's no longer a full sprint collision and just blast somebody. They're trying to get rid of the head injuries.
What about onside kicks? Why can't what do you do when you want to get back in the game?
I wonder if they're using the same thing. So what the XFL does is they start. Opt to go for onside. You get the ball on your on the opponent's 25, and you have to go for a 4th and 25 and get the down.
I don't know the exact answer, but I can say I'm 99% sure they are not doing that. And an onside, they will go back to their traditional way because you aren't running full speed at somebody. It's still a 10-yard event,
With the kicking, though, they have to land it in a certain area for the receiver to catch it. Now, or else it is a penalty.
Now, I don't know if the NFL has adapted that. I don't know how deep the NFL has adapted to it.
But most kickoffs go in the end zone anymore. So
So in the XFL, it's a flag if you kick it through the end zone. Yeah. You have to land it in between
your return. Never do that.
I don't think the NFL has gone that far either. I think you can still kick it through. So I don't know, but it's going to look much different. I was shocked.
The whole issue that the XFL, whenever they combined with the UFL didn't want it was because it doesn't look like football whenever you're kicking off. Is the whole issue.
And then the NFL adapts it. And now the UFL
got rid of it.
They went back to the traditional, and now the NFL is taking it's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird. But those are the new rule changes. It's gonna look different. We're gonna see how they implement it and all that, but I like the kickoff.
Yeah,
the kickoff was fun
because every time it's a return.
Yeah,
it's not touchbacks every single.
Yeah, because in the XFL you had to return it.
Will be in the NFL, yeah.
Let's just kick it off with our breakdowns. We got 3 teams again this week, And maybe one of the more surprising teams, the Los Angeles Rams, they go last year. They finished 10-7. They lose in the first round of the wild card to the Detroit Lions by a point. It was a good game. It was the Matthew Stafford return to Detroit, and the Rams fall short. They will have the number 19 pick in the draft. 2 3s, 2 5s, and 4 6th-round picks. A lot of those are comp picks from players getting taken away in free agency. Matthew Stafford played most of the season.
15 games.
Almost 4,000 yards, 24 touchdowns, 11 picks. I don't think there's any question that Matthew Stafford is still one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He's definitely not as mobile, as he's been. But I'll tell you what, I've watched Matthew Stafford over the last 5 to 10 years. There is not a tougher quarterback in the league than him. He will play with broken fingers, broken ribs. He'll play through anything. I respect that a lot. Kyren Williams has a breakout year as the number one guy. They let Cam Akers go. They officially let Kyren Williams be the guy. 1,100 yards and 12 touchdowns.
He destroyed my fantasy year.
He was great, man. He was really good.
He killed me.
And then probably the biggest surprise in all of football, a rookie wide receiver named Puka Nacua, who no one had ever heard of. He gets 105 catches for almost 1,500 yards and 6 touchdowns. And Cooper Kupp, 59 receptions, 700 yards, and 5 touchdowns. And then Tyler Higbee had a little bit at 47, 500, and 2 touchdowns. It was really just the Puka Nacua show. And the Rams, after, most of free agency has been done, they have $21 million still available. So they have some money. I'll give you guys – let's talk about the Rams a little bit. Roy, what did you think of the Rams this season?
Well, I mean, they are well coached. I think Sean McVay is probably top 3-4 coaches in the NFL. I mean, he's just smart and a great offensive mind. Matthew Stafford is one of the top quarterbacks still in this game. He just he can make any throw. Like he moves that arm and that arm slot all over the place and makes an amazing throw. They found a running back at the end of the year. I mean, when would he come in week 10, maybe week 7, 8, Williams, and started just tearing up. That's what they needed. They needed a running game early, and that's what I think this team is. Their only problem was I thought their offensive line was a little weak. They kind of shored them up with some couple guards they got in free agency. They're going to have to. The big question for them is, Aaron Donald is gone, so they're going to have to replace that at some point in the draft. But this team can win now. So that's the difference. I mean, all they got to do is make a little draft. They still got, like you said, $20 million left to spend on maybe they need a backup running back. I still think they need another deep threat for a wide receiver to help to give the underneath throws better. But that's a team that can win now.
How about you, Bryce? What do you think last season?
I agree that they're a team that can win now, but how long do you think Matthew Stafford has left playing? Because he's been playing for like 20 years at this point almost, right?
20 years.
I mean, I think he was drafted in
15?
like 08, 09, right? So he's probably been in for like 13, 14 years. Yeah.
I mean, he's been playing for a while, so if it's got to be in the GM's head that there's an issue there.
Yeah.
I mean, he's getting old. He's getting injured. He only played 15 games is a lot. But you want a quarterback who's going to be there all year. And I don't know what season he's done that since his Super Bowl season, played the entire season. He's always seems that he has some type of injury. Being the toughest guy on the field, he plays through them, but they hinder him and stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see them. I think that they should take a late round quarterback just to sit behind Matthew Stafford, as what the Packers did 3 years ago with Jordan Love. Yeah. I would love to see them do that.
What about Jimmy G? They just got him.
He's the backup now.
I mean, does anybody in this room think Jimmy G is the guy of the future for the LA Rams?
You got to think they drafted Stetson. What's his name from Georgia?
Stetson Bennett. I forgot about
the mailman. The mailman, Stetson Bennett.
Yeah.
He's been away. He was away this year for family issues or mental issues or whatever.
I don't think you'll see him back playing football.
But I mean, they got Jimmy G, and I'm gonna tell you, you never know with Sean McVay what he could do with a talent. I mean, Jimmy G's not. It's not like he's not a horrible quarterback. He just does some stupid things and not make him win a job. So he could do some good things with Jimmy G, maybe.
Yeah, I do agree that this team is perfectly set up to win now, though.
Yeah.
And they're going to add pieces this year, whether it's a little bit left here in the free agency that we have left with their $21 million in cap, or it's drafting a receiver or a D lineman after they lost Donald. But this team, I think that no matter where they're at, I think that they have a lot of hope for this season because it's still a great team, especially with an amazing receiver like Puka Nacua with the Triple Crown Cooper Cup winner over on the other side of him.
Yeah, I think to me, the Rams offense is – Sean McVay is an absolute genius. But you look at the year that Cooper Cup won the Triple Crown. He got every pass. And it felt like this year they put Puka Nacua in that slot.
Yeah.
And what do you know? He got every catch. That's why I think Cooper Cup had such a quiet year because he wasn't in the number one wide receiver role that gets all the passes thrown. Yeah. But without that, I don't think they need a receiver because whoever they put at that number one seems just go off. It doesn't matter who it is.
He played 12 games.
Yeah. Yeah, he did. He was injured for a while. And they have their running back in Kyron Williams, who was great. Yeah. They go and add Jonah Jackson from Detroit, one of the best guards in football. I think this team just needs help on defense. They go and sign Cameron Curl, good safety, more of a linebacker / safety. He just comes into the box. I think losing Donald kills them. They need to address that D-line because it's super weak now. But I just trust Sean McVay. He's so smart on offense that whoever they have on offense, he can make work. I think they just need to work on the defense, and they can be right back into that wild card slot like they were last year. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying they're better than the Niners. I don't think they can get over that hump. I just don't think they're quite on that level. But, hitting that wild card, 10 wins, I think that's what they can do again. But they definitely need to help that D-line because Aaron Donald, he could get double-teamed and still get to the quarterback. I think that's going to take us into our second team, the Pittsburgh Steelers, who I'll tell you what had one of the worst rosters in football and made the playoffs. Mike Tomlin, I don't know what he does, but he just gets to the playoffs. I don't know if he's bribing people or what, but somehow he gets there. It's crazy. Pittsburgh Steelers, they go 10-7. They lose the wild card to Buffalo. They have the number 20th pick in the first round, 2 3s, 4, and 2 6s. I'll talk about the quarterback play, but, it's really a moot point because none of these people are on the roster anymore other than is Mason Rudolph there, or did he leave as well? I don't remember.
He left.
Did he go to Cleveland?
He's somewhere like that.
Tennessee?
Maybe. I don't remember where.
I think you're right. I think it was Tennessee.
Okay. But I will go over. Kenny Pickett, just not a good year. He gets benched / hurt. 2,000 yards, 6 touchdowns, 4 picks. Mason Rudolph, 700 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Mitch Trubisky, Bears legend, 600 yards, 4 touchdowns, 5 picks.
MVP.
Just an abysmal year from the quarterback play. Najee Harris, 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns, 4 yards a carry. He was pretty good. They did have a good 1-2 punch with Jaylen Warren, 780 yards and 4 touchdowns. So that was pretty good. George Pickens is definitely their number one, 1,100 yards, 5 touchdowns. He's also absolutely crazy, mentally not healthy. But good receiver, good for him. Deontay Johnson, another mute point, not there. I will say even though he didn't have a good year, nobody on offense for the Steelers had a good year. Pat Freiermuth, I do believe, is a good tight end. 300 yards, 2 touchdowns is not a lot. They have $15 million, and I'll throw in there they got Justin Fields for a bag of rice, so that's good for them as well. Sorry, Bryce. Bryce is probably about to punch me. Bryce, I'll start with you. What did you think about the Steelers this season and all of the moves? Because now I will also throw in they have added Russell Wilson as their quarterback to start, and Justin Fields looks to be the backup for now. So
yeah, there isn't any contention on the starting spot. They said Russell Wilson's going to be the starter, which I love for Justin Fields. He's had one of the worst setups put around him the past few years, and he just deserves that new start and sitting behind a future Hall of Fame quarterback like Russell Wilson probably is. This team, like Josh said, it was a horrible team, but somehow got into the playoffs. There was talks of firing Mike Tomlin. I don't know how the hell you fire Mike Tomlin when the guy has gotten in the playoffs every year with just the shittiest teams I've ever seen. They're going to be good this year. I don't think that they're too far off of being a Super Bowl contender with adding Russell Wilson to this team. They had absolutely no quarterback play last year, and you bring in a champion with a George Pickens receiver, it looks good to me. And they have good running backs too. I think that they're one or two receivers away from being a Super Bowl contender because Russell Wilson still passed for over 3,000 yards with not even playing the last 2 games. That's what Mike Tomlin's been begging for, is a player like that to come out he can win games. It's no longer just the coaching that's going to win games. They have a player on the field who can win games now too as well.
How about you, Roy? What do you your outlook on the Steelers?
Well, I'm not as down on their team as you guys. Their quarterback play was terrible last year, but their defense had a lot of injuries because Pittsburgh's always been known as running the football, stellar defense, and then having a quarterback play who just, Ben Roethlisberger, he would complete your pass. He wouldn't throw anything flashy. He would just complete the passes, and they would go down the field and score. That's what they want. They tried to start a rookie quarterback who was absolutely horrible. And then Mason Rudolph, it was not a play, is a backup for a reason, and he should be about a third stringer. So I think this team with some, add some more help on your defense, because you found out that your defense, when your best players get out, you don't have much depth. They need to get some depth there. Their offensive line's still pretty good. I still think, their running back game is still good. I think they need another receiver opposite George Pickens to help out.
Deontay Johnson was traded.
Yeah. So, you got Van Jefferson as the only other receiver, basically. I really think that this team's going to be a better team with Russell Wilson and Justin Fields as a quarterback back there. Because I think if Russell Wilson goes down, I think Justin Fields will help him a lot in that offense. Because Mike Tomlin is one of the top coaches in the NFL and has been for a long time, because he's just smart and he knows how to teach the game, and he gets these guys where they need to be. And it's Pittsburgh, so that's what they do. Yeah. They run the ball and win.
Yeah, I really like what they've done on the defensive side. They bring in Patrick Queen over from Baltimore on a big deal. TJ Watt's still a top 5 edge rusher in this league. Their defense to me is not an issue. It's the offense. I really do like Russell Wilson. I think he fits the offense well. Like you said, Roy, they want to run the ball. They want to hit the play action. They want to get to George Pickens. And I think Russell Wilson can do that exactly, especially as a leader. He's going to be able to lead this team. My problem with the Steelers is they hired Arthur Smith from the Falcons, so their season's fucked. I'm going to be honest. They're done. He's the worst offensive mind in football. So their season is ruined. They will not make the playoffs because of that. So that's all I have to say about the Steelers.
He likes to run the ball, though, or he likes to run or give it to other guys that are the best players.
I wouldn't be surprised if TJ Watt's taking balls from the backfield. So, I don't know.
Re-sign Mitch Trubisky as a running back.
So we're going to see how he messes the Steelers up. But all jokes aside, that'll take us into the Miami Dolphins, who were one of the hottest teams to start the year. And a pretty disappointing first-round exit. They go 11-6. They tie with the Bills with the same record, but they lost on week 18? Yeah, 18. And they lose the home field advantage in the playoffs. They go 11-6, lose the wild card to the Chiefs in Kansas City in the freezing cold game, if you guys remember. They don't have too many picks. They got a 1, number 21, a second, and then they only have a 5th, 2, 6, and a 7. So they better make those first 2 picks count. Unlike a lot of the teams in that middle of the pack, they did have one quarterback play most of the season. Tua played 17 games, 4,600 yards, 29 touchdowns, 14 picks. They had a 2-man game at the running back with Raheem Mostert and Devon Achane. Mostert goes for 1,000 yards, 18 touchdowns. I believe that led football. And Devon Achane, though he was hurt with some knee injuries later in the year, 103 carries, 800 yards, 7.8 per carry, which is just absurd. And 8 touchdowns as well. And then the 2-headed monster, but really just the 1-headed monster this season. Tyreek Hill, 120 catches, 1,800 yards, 13 touchdowns. Jalen Waddle, injury-riddled season, who didn't play as well, still gets 1,000 yards, 4 touchdowns. And then their running backs each had 3 receiving touchdowns each. They have $8 million in cap. They don't have as much room to maneuver. Bryce, I'll let you go first. What do you think about the Dolphins this season?
To me, the Dolphins this season, the reason we see them so hot at the beginning of the season is because they can't play in the cold. So everybody on that team is built to be around a speed-first team. And whenever it's warm at the beginning of the year, they're just lighting teams up, scoring 70 points because they've got the speed to do it. But they get down in the cold and they start having to run the ball down the middle, and I just don't think that it's the same type of game, and they get slowed down. Tua is a great quarterback for what he's needed to do, throw a quick hitch to Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, or throw it as far as he can to Tyreek Hill. I don't think he's the type of guy that's going to go win you a Super Bowl, though, especially not late in the year where it's cold. One of the biggest issues I think this team's going to face is losing Christian Watkins, because that defense they had last year was also stellar along with their speedy offense. And losing Christian Watkins to the Raiders, I think, is going to really hurt them. So that's where I want to see them go get somebody in the draft, is a D lineman to replace that spot.
How about you, Roy? What about the Dolphins? Did you get a takeaway?
I mean, the offense is made for speed. That's what it is. Their offensive line I didn't think is very that good. I think they need to upgrade a little bit on that. Because I think they're about quick pitches, or Tua holds the ball too long, trying to throw it deep, and that's it. And he gets sacked. Yeah. Injuries hurt them a little bit last year. Their defense still needs some help. I mean, they were good, but they faded because they need some help on the back end. More help on the back end. They got to be better. They got to get more pass rush. I think Wilkinson is a big loss. They got to replace that. But this team is I think you're right. The cold weather could hurt them in Kansas City, but this team speed anywhere can win if you get have your defense stick you in the game. So they can, if they just upgrade in some positions on their offensive line and maybe on the back end of defense, I think this team could be really, really good again next year.
Yeah. Yeah, like you guys nailed it. I mean, it's just a speed. I agree and I disagree with you, Bryce. I do think that this team is not meant for the cold, but like Tyreek Hill played in Kansas City, he can do it. Yeah, the run game, even though they're speedsters, maybe they're not as fast. I think it's harder to tackle in the cold. And especially to keep up with those guys. But the quarterback play, I do agree. Tua is an accurate ball thrower. He throws a good ball, and it's accurate. His problem is his arm strength. He has a hard time getting it down the field. Yes, he can throw up to Tyreek Hill and hope to God he runs underneath it. But, to really let the ball rip, I mean, you look at Josh Allen in the division. You look at Patrick Mahomes in the AFC. Those guys can sling it 50, 60 yards on a line. Tua just isn't going to be able to do that. I think he's okay for what they need, but I agree with you, Bryce. I am a little cautious to think that he can win you a Super Bowl. Now, I don't know. They need to beef up this defense. Christian Wilkins is a huge loss. Yeah. They also lose their other interior defensive tackle, Roquan Davis. Smaller name, still a good player. They lose Robert Hunt, a guard. But then they bring in a guard, Brandon Jones from Denver, who's good. And they also bring in Jordan Brooks from Seattle, who can replace at the linebacker position. And another one I'll talk, and even though I don't think he played as good down the stretch, they did cut Xavier Howard, their number 2 corner behind Jalen Ramsey. Sadly, they let go of Chase Claypool. Though.
I was going to say what hurt them the most is as soon as they acquired Chase Claypool, everything went downhill.
I mean, he's just
it's the Chase Claypool effect.
I think the Bears need to re-sign him again.
No.
I think this team – I mean, my problem is they don't have many picks. Like, it's not like they can go in and get those superstars. They got a first, a second, and they'll pick till the 5th.
Yeah.
To me, what do they have? 21. To me, they're a prime trade down candidate. Maybe get a mid-second and a 4th. You know, they just need more players. I do like Mike McDaniel, their coach. I think he's a good coach. I really do. He's a good offensive mind. He's came from that Shanahan tree. Same with McVay and LaFleur. They're all best buddies. But the Bills are too good and the Chiefs are too good right now. I don't think they're ready to hit that window like most of them are. But when you have Tyreek Hill at the end of the day, he's going to win you a few football games by himself. So I guess I shouldn't say too much. I don't think we have anything else on the Dolphins. That's going to take us into some Major League Baseball. Like we said, Major League Baseball opening day is Thursday. Can't wait. Yankees are going to get their ass ripped by the fucking Houston Astros. But we're going to rock into our MLB draft. And so the viewers who we did not do this podcast last year at this time. Last year, we did a draft where we each took teams in tiers. And then each month, we each day we tallied wins. Like if a team has 5 wins in the month, we get 5 wins. If they have 20, we get 20. And we have teams and we draft them. And there's usually some teams in the tiers left over. And at the end of the month, you can exchange and it has to be in the same tier.
Yeah.
And you go by the order. So last place gets picked first,
or you
second.
Can make trades with other teams.
So we have the tiers, and I will put the tiers up on the screen up here so you guys can see them. They're right up there right now. And last year, I was in last. the entire season. Roy had the lead most of the season.
Most of the year.
And then lost it in the last month to Bryce. So Bryce did win that.
So the way we did our draft order last year, Roy actually cheated.
Yeah,
I did not cheat.
I should have had the number one pick.
I got the pizza.
This is how we did it. Everybody listen. This is how we did it. We ordered pizza to wherever we were, and we had to send a picture of our pizza to our group chat.
Delivery.
No, never decided it had to be delivery.
I actually sent a screenshot of me showing where I said it had to be delivered.
Yeah.
And then Roy still argued it.
And
anyway, Roy lives a block away from a pizza place. He obviously had the highest advantage. So what Roy did was he went inside the pizza place where he knows the owners, told the girl behind the desk, scared her to death, told her, make my pizza right effing now. I mean, this woman almost called the cops on him because of how aggressive he was.
And then guess what? He took the picture of the pizza in the place.
Kitchen. It wasn't even outside of the pizza place.
I was standing inside. I was standing in the dining area, and they brought it out to me. So that is delivery at spot.
I can show you the photo. It's on the counter. I worked.
Never says to our home.
He pulled it out of the oven and set it on the counter where they box it up.
And they brought it to me. They brought it to me.
Bullshit.
I took a picture.
But that's how we got the first pick last year.
Well, so the draft, I'm going to have the number 1. Roy's going to go number 2. Bryce is going to go 3. And then it's a snake. So Bryce will have 4. Roy will have 5. I'll have 6. We're going to do 2 teams in each tiers. There's 10 teams in each tier. So 4 teams in each tier will be left over. And those teams won't count for anybody. Tier 1. And you can pick any team in any order from the same tier. The tier 1, it goes Braves, Dodgers, Orioles, Phillies, Rangers, Astros, Yankees, Blue Jays, Rays, and Diamondbacks. I am on the clock, and I am going to ask. I already have my team selected, so you can say who you think I'm going to draft, but it's not going to change who I'm drafting. I just want to hear your guesses. Roy, who do you think I'm taking 1-1?
Braves.
You guys, I was hoping you guys say the Dodgers. I am taking the Braves 1-1. I do think the Dodgers are a better team, but I think the Dodgers are in a much tougher division, and so maybe a couple games they'll lose. I am taking the Braves number 1. So that puts Roy on the clock, and I have a feeling I know his pick.
I'm taking Dodgers.
Yep. All right, Bryce, you're on the clock. You got 2 picks in a row.
One win already from last week?
What's that?
Do I get their 1 win from last week?
Yes, you do.
Yeah, you do.
Because it'll count in their season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm taking the Orioles with my first pick.
Yep.
And then I think that I want the Astros as my second pick.
Okay.
I think that they can win out a few more.
Okay, so Bryce takes Orioles and Astros, and that is his tier 1. He won't get any more picks.
That'll leave the Yankees for one of you two as well.
Roy?
I'm taking the Rangers.
Wow. I really thought you were going to Yankees, Roy. I really did.
Josh gets his Yankees.
Damn. I don't know. I was taking the Rangers. It's the first month. These teams, again, after the first month, you can exchange. Let's say the Astros start.
Whoever is in last.
Yeah, let's say the Astros start 5-15, and the Diamondbacks are 30-0. Bryce can exchange if it's his pick.
You don't get those past wins though. You only get forward wins.
Yeah, you don't get to go back. You only get their picks forward.
I would have took the Yankees if Garrett Cole was still.
Yeah, and see, I am not going to be taking them because of that.
Wow.
I want the Phillies, but the Phillies start slow every year. I'm pissed you took the Rangers, Roy. That was my pick.
Jays.
I'm not taking the Blue Jays
I was
or the
hoping that
Rays.
you would take the Bryce take the Rangers.
I might take the Diamondbacks, honestly, but I just want to look at a schedule. I'm not even going to look at a whole month. I just want it's between 2 teams. I really thought you'd go Yankees. That's what threw me off so much.
I placed a bet today on DraftKings. Actually, they had a special. If the over under is 2.5 on teams to win 100 games this year. I said,
I think
okay. I will take the Phillies.
You're taking the Phillies.
I think it'll be 3.
I will take the Phillies for the first month.
Braves, Dodgers, Orioles, and maybe Astros.
Braves, Dodgers, and Orioles. You think will be over 100? You said 100 game wins?
Yeah, 100.
Oh, I think it'll be more. I think there'll be more than 3. I think there'll be 4.
Yeah,
So
I can see 4.
So we did chalk it. We took the best 6 teams on the tier technically. The Yankees, Blue Jays, Rays, and Diamondbacks all will be available after the first month, and you cannot change in the month. So,
Yeah.
if I take the Braves and in the first month, Ronald Acuna, Matt Olson run into each other and they're done for the year, I can't change them till the end of what will be April, end of April.
Yeah, April.
Because we'll go through March and not count it to a switch. So, that is tier 1, and so we will go into tier 2, where the teams are the Mariners, Cubs, Twins, Padres, Reds, Mets, Giants, Cardinals, Brewers, and Tigers. This is, to me, the hardest tier.
Yeah.
These are the teams that kind of are middle of the pack, and they could go up or they could go down. I know who Bryce wants. I'm going to chalk it. I'm going Mariners first. I think they're the best team in this tier, but all up for debate.
I mean, that was who I was hoping I could get. Damn. Yeah,
both my teams.
I'm gonna take the Giants.
Damn it, that was gonna be my second.
Wow,
pick.
I didn't think that's who you were talking about, Bryce.
Giants were the other team I wanted to pick with that addition of Chapman and Snow. I think they'll be a good boosted tier 2 team this year. Obviously, I'm taking the Cubs with my first one.
Yep.
I'm glad they were still on the board.
I feel like I know who you're going to take.
I really want to take the Reds, but I don't want to because they're in the same division, and I don't want to lose wins off of that. So I'm going to take the Padres.
Damn.
Even though last year I took them, and they kind of screwed me a lot last year because I took them as a 1 tier, I'm pretty sure.
Well, I am officially in last place already. Yeah. They both have 1 win. Bryce has 1 win, and Roy has 1 win.
I am going to take the Tigers.
Wow. Okay. I like it. I like to pick Roy. I do.
And I already know who Josh is going to take. Well, actually, I don't.
I'll tell you what. I'm not taking the Twins. I'm not high on them.
It's going to be the Reds or the Cardinals, I bet you.
I don't want the Cardinals because Sonny Gray's hurt, and that scares me. I think the Cardinals are going to be fine, but they're a little injured right now.
I can't believe it.
I would assume you'd take the Reds, but Twins worried me.
No, that'll be the last team I take. The Brewers are the worst team in this thing. I'm taking the Mets before them. I am leaning toward the Mets right now. I think they have the offense to survive a little bit. Ooh, that's this is hard.
The Cubs are playing.
Who do the Reds play? It's all about matchups for these first couple weeks.
Breaking news during this podcast: Cordell Patterson signed with the Steelers. Another
returner, probably.
Yeah, returner, running back, receiver. Another guy for the play action for Russell Wilson, though.
Yeah, but Atlanta abused him for 2 years there, and he's not the same player.
He was great as a Bear.
Where are the Reds at?
Cincinnati.
I know that. I'm trying to find their schedule.
I wish you would hurry up with this pick.
Shut your mouth.
We took long. Yeah, Roy's got to go.
I am taking the Reds.
Okay.
I hate that pick too. I wanted the Padres and Bryce took them.
You're welcome.
I thought you were going to take the Reds.
No way I'm taking 2 teams in the same conference like that.
So that leaves Twins, Mets, Cardinals, and Brewers available in Tier 2. And that'll take us into Tier 3.
The Guardians, Red Sox, Marlins.
I will take the Guardians with my
Pirates,
first one.
Angels, Nationals, White Sox, Rockies, A's.
I will take the Guardians with my first pick.
I am going to take the Marlins.
That's who I wanted.
I knew you were going to take them.
Now I don't know who to pick because those are the only teams I really think are.
Yeah, this is where you can win it right here. If you pick a team that shoots up, you can.
Yeah,
let me take the Angels.
Okay.
Just
you're taking the Angels.
Yeah, they still have Mike Trout. It's a few wins.
I do agree. I don't think that's god awful.
And I'm going to take the Royals.
Fuck no, you're so bad. Fuck you. That's ridiculous. You literally said they're like the 3rd worst team in baseball.
Well, they've got Bobby Witt. It's going to get a few wins.
I'm so pissed. I wanted them so bad.
I know you did.
I almost took them first, but I know the Guardians are the best team in this thing.
This guy would blow Bobby Witt Jr. if he could.
Oh, gosh.
I'm also high on their new starting pitcher. I think he's going to be a stud.
I am going to go with I'll do the Pirates.
Oh, Josh called it.
Thank God. And I will go with the Nationals.
You can have them.
I like my team. I think I've got the best team again.
So that'll do it. So my team will be the Braves, the Phillies, the Mariners, the Reds, the Guardians, and the Nationals. Roy's will go the Dodgers, Rangers, Giants, and Tigers, Marlins, and Pirates. And Bryce's team will go Orioles, Astros, Cubs, Padres, Royals, Angels. So that'll be our team. And each podcast we will update our standing. So you guys will get an update once a week from our thing. And I don't think we have anything else in baseball. There's not much to talk about until opening day. We will, for baseball, we will just talk about, weekly highlights, a team that's maybe been 7-0 since we last talked, maybe some breakout performances, a breakout game, and things like that. But the baseball, it'll be a quick segment, and we're hoping that in the comment sections you guys put, talk about the Royals this week or talk about the Angels this week or something that they did. So if you guys have any things you want to talk about when you're watching baseball, let us know in the comments. That's going to take us to our miscellaneous category. And my lock missed last week. It was pretty ugly. I know betting on March Madness is tough. I know that.
I am in March Madness. So
what's really?
Yeah, I've made some money too, actually.
I won when we were in Nashville. I won $150, but outside of that, I haven't hit on anything. I haven't bet too much. I've just been doing our bracket.
I've been hitting a lot on NBA lately.
I mean, I had some bad beats. Like Purdue on that last Saturday or last Friday. I took the 126.5 under, and with 13 seconds away, Purdue hits a 3-pointer to go 127.
What do I want to do here?
Damn.
With their walk-on lefty.
Yeah.
Dumbass.
I'm going to keep it pretty chalk this week. It's not going to be a big payout. I'm going to do UConn money line over San Diego State. I'm pretty confident they're going to take it. And I am going to go the Arizona money line over Clemson. I feel confident that they can win. I'm going to bet $20 and it pays 30. So it's not a great payout, but I feel good about it. So that's going to be my lock of the week this week.
All right, that takes us to the game of the week from me. This is going to be my first NBA one, I think. I don't think I've done an NBA one yet. But this one, I think I'm going to win. This one, I think, is kind of hard, and there's a few players on here you're not going to be able to name. There is 10, 14 answers. So I'm going to give you 3 strikes.
14 answers?
Yeah, because I think some of them you apply
like newer player stuff, or
well, let me read you the game. Okay. You have 14 answers with 3 strikes. This is all stars. LeBron has beat in the finals. Not that he's played, that he's beat.
Okay.
And with
that he's played, not beat.
Yes.
That he has beat.
That he has.
Oh, that has beat. That he yes. All stars that he's beat.
Yes.
Okay.
And with Dimaj being a LeBron rider, you guys should be able to get that.
All right, let's go to this most recent. He was a Laker and he beat the Heat. Jimmy Butler's an all-star.
That is one.
Bam Adebayo's an all-star.
That is another one.
I don't know if I don't think Tyler Hero's been an all-star. Let's just do the ones we know. So I know that. Then his one before that would have been down 3-1 Cleveland against Golden State. So Steph Curry.
Yep.
Klay Thompson.
Green. Yep, those both.
And Draymond Green.
Yep.
So we're at 5.
Mm-hmm.
Was Kevin Durant part of that team? No, they weren't. Was he?
He came the next year to Golden State.
But he has beat Kevin Durant in a final. So Kevin Durant.
Yep.
He was on the Thunder. That was his
with
first
the Thunder.
One. Okay, so before that one, it would have been
Spurs.
Yeah, it would have been Heat over Spurs. So Tim Duncan.
Yes.
Manny Ginobili, whatever his name.
Yep, Ginobili. Tony Parker's been an all-star.
Tony Parker is one.
Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah, he's not on this list actually, but
I know that.
Was he on the team?
Yeah, he was on that team.
Oh,
he was on the team, but he wasn't. He was on the team. He just wasn't Kawhi Leonard at the time.
I don't know.
No, I'm looking to see. I know Kawhi played on the year the Heat lost.
I know he played the year that the Spurs won.
The Heat won in 12 and 13, so it would have been 13 the year that they beat 13. NBA.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
No, Kawhi played when the Heat won, so that one should be on there.
I don't know why that one's on there.
Yeah. He was on there.
So how many has LeBron won? 4?
Yeah.
4. And then his other one would have been Heat against OKC, Russell Westbrook.
Russell Westbrook's one of them.
So how many left?
Was James Harden on that team?
At least 4
Yes.
left.
James Harden.
James Harden is one of them. You have 3 left.
Okay, now these are going to be smaller all-stars, I guarantee. Are these guys smaller than names we've already named?
I'm not going to give any hints.
Well, we haven't hit any road.
So we got 3 left, right?
Yeah, and you have 3 strikes still, so I'm not giving a hint.
So it's Thunder, Spurs, Warriors, Heat. Heat.
What about that Perkins guy? Was he with Thunder when they
Kendrick
played?
Perkins.
I hate him. He's a racist.
I don't know if he was an all-star. Let's throw it out there. We have strikes. Kendrick Perkins.
That is not an all-star.
Not an all?
No.
Okay, so that's a strike.
He's a fat loser.
Is there anybody on the Heat that we're missing?
The Heat, the year the Heat went to the finals, they had Butler, Bam, Hero, the Morris twins, but they're not all-stars. Who was their point guard that year? It's in the bubble. Fucking
That wasn't the bubble year, was it?
yeah, that's when LeBron beat the Heat.
Right?
Was the bubble.
Oh yeah, it was the bubble that he won. This one, no one counts.
Who was their point guard?
I don't know. I can't think. Not an all-star. I wouldn't miss an all-star.
Lowry wasn't there, right?
Maybe I don't.
Lowry came the year.
I don't think Lowry was there yet. I feel like it was like Jimmy playing the point basically. I want the Spurs. They had Kawhi, Tim Duncan, Ginobili, Parker, Danny Green. I think still played there. Do you think
Danny Green was there when
Danny Green?
That is not who I have on the list.
Damn.
I don't know if he's been an all-star.
I have no idea.
Do you want me to give you the teams now? You only have one
Yeah.
left. There is one from 3 teams: the Warriors, Spurs, and Heat.
So one from each.
Yes.
How about Sean Livingston?
He was. I don't think he was there when they.
Well, he was at Golden State.
He definitely was there when they got beat.
No way Sean Livingston was an all-star. There's just
I
no
don't know.
way.
He's the reason that they were.
What about their centers? Like JaVale McGee. Was JaVale McGee an all-star in like Denver?
Andrew Bogut was one of the other centers.
I forgot about Andrew Bogut.
Anderson Varejao.
I don't think Varejao was ever an all-star. The Heat one's going to kill me. Is it like Udonis Haslem? Was Haslem an all-star in like 2009?
Probably something like that.
I'm going Udonis Haslem.
Well, this is your final guess.
Do you think
Go
Udonis
ahead.
Haslem was an all-star?
Yeah, it sounds good to me.
Udonis Haslem.
No.
Wow. How do
True
you
last
play
three.
20 years in the NBA and not make an all-star? Who is it?
The one from the Warriors is Andre Iguodala.
Oh,
Yeah.
Can't believe you guys didn't get that one. The one from the Heat is Goran Dragic.
I see. He ran through my name. I didn't think he was in the bubble.
I don't have a clue.
He was like the 6th man.
I know.
He wasn't the starting point guard anymore.
I didn't even think he was there anymore.
I didn't know he was
And
an
then
all-star.
the last one from the Spurs, I think is the hardest one, is Tracy McGrady.
He was on the Spurs when they.
I didn't know he was even on the Spurs.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
There's no way he played because I watched those finals. That was hard.
Yeah, that was a
Wow.
hard one.
All right,
Okay.
so to me, well, mine are just going to be. I'm going to do some. I took some Ben Franklin quotes here, and decided to do some. He said, "Laugh when you're old." So I'm going to do some jokes for you. If
Okay.
you're an old man, jokes.
Oh, great.
What's the secret to having smoking hot body as a senior?
Smoking cigs.
Nah, cremation.
Oh my god.
Which underwear brand do seniors love the best?
Pampers.
It depends.
I don't get it.
I don't either.
Depends underwear.
Never heard of it.
Never.
You
heard
never
of it.
heard depends underwear?
No.
Wow. And the last one. Let's see if I can. Which one? How is the moon like dentures?
Don't know.
It comes out at night.
That's what I was going to say. Actually.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
there were some dirty ones I could have done, but I thought I'd be clean.
It's a real
you don't want to hear some old dirty
carry
ones.
over here.
Yeah, I know. You should really pick up stand-up comedian.
I
Stand-up
have
comedy.
no desire to do that.
All right. I don't think we have anything else. Next week we will have a little bit bigger of an episode. We will have baseball to talk about, and our 3 teams next week will be the Eagles, the Browns, and the Cowboys.
No one cares
So,
about that.
Artists.
I'm gonna rip them a fucking apart. I can't
Choke
wait.
artists.
I can't wait. I don't think we have anything else. You guys got anything else to add?
No, I don't think so.
Nope.
Keep liking, subscribing.
Yeah.
Comment what you want to see. Josh is still streaming on Twitch. I'm hoping to be up on Twitch in like a week or 2. So
Yeah, maybe
Too
you
many
don't
of
try to
those.
do everything yourself like a dumbass.
yeah,
Now my
I'll be-
pre-built isn't looking too bad, is it?
yeah. Well,
I'm going
mine
to
was
the Holy
5.
Grail this weekend to Ann Arbor, so I love Ann Arbor. So you
Yeah,
can enjoy
maybe
some
some content
know me
there
some,
in Ann Arbor.
enjoy me some breweries and some Michigan baseball.
Nice. Hit the like button, subscribe, share. And good luck to all the teams playing in March Madness and go opening day baseball.
All right, see ya.
Peace.
Peace.